The decal kits that come with some of the ClickRigs rig kits aren't regular stickers, and they're a little bit different from the water-based decals that a lot of models used to come with. They're actually really cool. It's called a 3D UV permanent sticker, and what it does is it deposits the ink material only where there are graphics, and then it's also a little bit 3D, which means it sort of sticks up from the rest of the thing that it's being stuck to, which gives it the appearance of something that's much more similar to like an actual paint job. And when applied correctly, they're very durable. I mean, they can be scratched, but they won't peel up like a regular sticker would. They'll act almost as if they had actually been painted onto the vehicle, which is really cool. But what that means is there are a little bit of preparation and requirements to get that done correctly. And so I'm going to be going over some of the tools that you'll probably need and show you how to apply these. You need a way to cut each of these out. That can be done with scissors or an X-Acto knife or a combination of the two. Some Scotch tape isn't absolutely necessary, but it's handy in order to peel the backing and the graphic apart. I don't have very many fingernails, and so sometimes getting those two things to separate can be a little bit easier with Scotch tape. And then you'll need what's included in the kit, which is the decal set itself. And why don't you just go ahead and open this up. I'll show you what's involved. So we have the decal sheet. Now this decal sheet is a duplicate. So this dotted line, everything to each side is just a duplicate set. So you only need half of them, but we included a double in case one gets messed up and you want to redo it. Or if you do it all correctly, you can use some of these graphics on some of your other ClickRigs kits. Also included in this bag are a couple of alcohol wipes, and those are absolutely vital to making sure there's no greases or oils on the part you're going to stick it to. Otherwise, it absolutely will not work well. Surface prep, just like with real painting, is absolutely critical to making these work well. And with that in mind too, you should also make sure you start with very clean hands. So wash your hands before you start this, as any oils, like from touching your face or whatever, can make the adhesion not what it needs to be. And then also included is, it's essentially, this is just one of the ball end links, but it happens to make a really nice, presser so that you can kind of rub the graphics into the nooks and crannies of the thing to get it to adhere. So we'll go over all of that. So let's start. We're going to do a couple on the hood. So we'll start with kind of one of the easier ones. Basically, the smaller and finer the graphics are, the more critical it is to get it to adhere when you peel the backing off. Otherwise, the backing will pull the graphics up as well. And if that happens, you can just press it back down and then rub it in a little bit better with the tool, and then gently pull the backing off until you get it. But we'll start with the 23, as that's a fairly straightforward one to do. So what you're going to want to do is I first just sort of crudely cut everything out so you're not dealing with the whole sheet. And then what you can do is just kind of cut. You don't have to cut right up to the edge. Leave a little bit of the backing, but you just kind of want to cut out around the whole thing, sort of like that. And it's a little bit hard to tell, but essentially these stickers have two layers. There's technically three. There's the print itself, or the graphic itself, which is the paint that gets deposited onto the sheet. And on one side of the sheet is a backer that lets you position it and it holds everything in place. And on the other side is a backer that protects the adhesive that's on the letters themselves. Now, you can sort of, you can get your finger in there, you can peel these apart just like that. And you want to make sure not to touch any of the actual like graphic stuff, because that's where the adhesive is. But if you're having trouble separating those two, I've found that a couple pieces of Scotch tape actually works really well. And what you can do is you can essentially put a piece on one side, and put a piece on the other, and essentially use those to sort of pull the backing apart. We're going to keep this sort of where it is for now. And we're going to open one of these alcohol wipes. This is just isopropyl alcohol. If you have rubbing alcohol in the home, that will work as well if you need more of these. What you want to do is you want to essentially prep by wiping kind of the whole area. You really just kind of want to get it clean and make sure you're not touching it. You can use both sides. And then kind of the final wipe in one direction. And what that will do is that will help push kind of instead of smearing any potential oils all around, that will sort of wipe it one way out of the way. Set that aside. You can use those a few times. You're going to want to let that dry. Shouldn't take very long. The alcohol evaporates fairly quickly. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go back to your piece. You're going to peel the backer off. You can kind of see the backer is attached to this piece of tape. That you can just throw away. Now you've got your graphics on the positioning backer. What you're going to want to do is just kind of figure out where you want to position these. And I like to sort of just this is the hard part. And let's just say we want it right about there. Just kind of get it all here nicely. And with this backing still on, what you want to do is you just kind of essentially want to rub all over wherever there's graphics. And where it kind of goes over like a ridge or a change, you kind of want to really rub that section in. Paying attention to the edges especially. And if you've done it correctly and you've got it rubbed in, you can start then to peel off the positioning backer. And you're going to want to do this really slowly. You can kind of see our corner is lifting up there. So what we want to do is go back in, really smash that corner down. Now you can see when we peel, the corner doesn't come up. You're just kind of paying attention. You can kind of see we got a little bit of lift there, so we'll go back in, kind of rub that. Taking your time with these is really key. Get them on right though, they'll pretty much stay on forever. They even develop a nice patina with play. So now we've pulled off the other backer. That can go away. And there you've got it. Nice 23 on there. So now let's do one of the more challenging ones. We'll do wind, sand, and stars. Again, cutting it out. And we're just cutting it out. So that is the only graphic on there. It doesn't have to be too close. It just depends also on what you're like putting it against. I need a little more clearance. Cut a little closer. I'm gonna go back in. I'm gonna give this another quick alcohol wipe. Again, I'm just going another way you can do this is I just don't like, you can do this without the tape, I just don't like. Oh, helps if you put it on the right side. There you go, that's the backer. Set that aside. And where you want to pay attention, like where we go over these roof ribs, kind of like just to conform. Because these are so tiny, there's less adhesive, so you really have to watch it and be careful as you go to make sure that those little letters aren't peeling up, because those little letters are actually each individual letters. It's not one big sticker, which is what makes these things so cool. Just like that. And then kind of go in and give it some extra rub. There, you've got it. And you can gently go into and just kind of rub them in. Just want to be a little more careful without the backing. And there you go.